Hi there, welcome to another educational video documenting my Web3 expedition. In this video, we're going to be talking about Socket Protocol and basically explaining everything about it to you. It's the first chain abstraction protocol as seen on the website. That's the slogan. In fact, that's the entire narrative of Socket Protocol. Basically, they are enabling chain abstraction for the end user. So what this means, superficially is your ability to use multiple chains without the hassle, or knowing what goes on under the hood. It's just like a modular situation that connects all chains before you, and then you can traverse each all of them without the hassle, wondering what uh, gas token to use, for example, on what chain, bothering about getting the correct interacting with the correct token, stuff like that. So anyway, I'm not supposed to break that down at this stage. There's supposed to be a flow to this. So let's scroll down to the bottom part of the site, the landing page. And here it says Socket Protocol leverages modular order flow auctions called MOFA. So basically, it's a technology to allow developers to compose with any app users and assets across chains. So it also simply creates an abstraction for developers as well, such that they can build their app, access users, and also deploy their assets in such a way that they exist across chains. Okay, so imagine you deploy a token and incorporate sockets protocol MOFA, and it suddenly has unified liquidity across chains, can be routed across chains without the hassle for the end user. That's a strong value proposition for developers. Not a developer will not relish the prospect of having his asset or application available to users on all chains, without the hassle associated with interacting cross chain, traditionally. So let's go. Don't worry. In practice, you'll understand this as we will go into some practice when we try to explore the ecosystem of Socket Protocol. Okay, so we're going to scroll down further. And here it says build abstracted, build wherever, access all users, all assets, all liquidity across networks. That's a very strong narrative there. So this is appealing to the developer. Why not build on Socket Protocol? Then you'll be able to access users irrespective of what chain is their favorite. You'll be able to have your asset exist on all chains with access to unified liquidity across all chains. Then another value proposition is global coordination, local execution. MOFA enables developer to build full stack applications. So you wouldn't need to have reservedness when it comes to how to build. You'll be able to build without restrictions. Let's put it like that. Your full stack applications. Okay. So let's scroll down here. Monolithic experience for users. We've touched on that already. Now, these are not just declarations or claims. Socket protocol is already powering 100 plus protocols with 20 billion in transaction volume. So basically, you must have, if they are what they are building is established, basically they're if they are truly capable of abstracting chain experiences, then you must have used socket protocol in some fashion without realizing it, which is obvious when you look at the hundreds of protocol that they have powered, which you must have used without knowing. So MetaMask, in of course, recent iterations of MetaMask offers this swap feature that allow you to swap within one chain and the other. To swap right within MetaMask. The infrastructure, and I think especially the bridge here, because they've introduced the ability to bridge your tokens between one chain and the other as if you are swapping them. I believe that's powered by Socket Protocol. Okay. Uh, Coinbase is also a Web3 wallet. Wallet, Rabbi is a Web3 wallet. Zerion, if you've taken a look at Zerion, you can move assets cross chain without, you know, with abstractedly. Let's put it like that. Matcha is a DEX. It offers, an AMM DEX that can swap cross chain with socket protocol under the hood. But in our example, you see how robust the ecosystem is. Different niches of applications are featured here. Kinto is a good example of an app chain that uh, has socket protocol under the hood. So I believe Kinto is a roll up based on Caldera. But if you have used Kinto before, let me see if I can quickly open Kinto just to show you, where socket protocol plays a role. So how is this considered an app chain? It's basically a chain. So Kinto is an L2 or a rollup, but the experience in using Kinto is an app experience. So it's just like if you are using this on a phone, you'll understand it better. Like an app, the experience is as if you are using an application, everything in one place. And for them to be able to build such, they definitely would need socket protocol in terms of moving funds around, swapping funds across chain. So if you look here, uh, you can swap Solana, which is an EVM, a non-EVM compatible chain, with USDC, for example, on the Arbitrum chain, without knowledge of what's going on under the hood. Routing, for example, socket protocol will ensure that the best liquidity sources are accessed all under the hood. All you need to do is basically swap. So as an end user, there is no hassle. And underlyingly, you are using socket protocol. Okay, but in this video, the example that I'll be using is Bungee. Okay, another good example is Layer 3. Many have used Layer 3. You complete learn to earn activities on Layer 3. And at times you have to mint the resulting NFT on a chain where you don't have the gas on to pay the transaction fees for the mint. You are then allowed to pay with your chain of choice, you know, and it also features a swapper that is similar to what we saw earlier with Kinto. But let's focus on Bungie as our practical for today. Interestingly, it would have been good to be able to click on it directly here, but it doesn't seem possible. So we will have to go to Bungie directly. So I've opened their Twitter account here, and this is what Bungie is like. So you see the narrative is of Bungie is blatant, swap tokens across chains powered by sockets. So you see chain abstracted swaps, bounds between assets spread across any network efficiently using the open liquidity market. So this is how it looks if you're to swap with Bungie. Once again, you can swap irrespective of the chain. It offers as many EVM chains as possible, and I don't know, let's see if it connects non-EVM chains as well. Let's see. Okay, so all these chains are actually EVM chains, but there is a new, I think this is an old version of Bungie. Just a moment. Okay. Okay, most of these are EVM chains. So I think that's the focus of Bungie. It connects all EVM chains together. And so assuming I wanted to swap my Let's see if I can even do a practical tutorial here. Okay, so I have some USDC on the base chain, and very quickly I want to purchase something on the optimism chain, where I don't have enough ETH to pay transaction fees. Okay, so I would swap my USDC, which exists on the base chain, to receive some ETH on the optimism chain. And that's all that there is to it, without having to uh, you know, purchase ETH on the optimism chain directly. I can use Bungee to solve that issue. It does the routing by itself. If you click on view all routes, you will see all the routes it's approaching, looking for the best liquidity source, the best price, the fastest transaction option, and then it prefers it. You decide to choose that route. All you need to do is swap in turn. You see all these technicalities here, you don't have to bother about it. you know Bungie is more like a bridge aggregator, so it's able to route, to source all the liquidity sources available for the token, ensure that the preferred route has enough liquidity, slippage is not an issue, and all you need to do is approve the transaction and swap. In the eventuality of this transaction, your funds will arrive on the optimism chain. You'll be receiving ETH on the optimism chain. So let's just complete this transaction. And of course, we've established that Bungee is powered by Socket Protocol. Just a moment. Hmm. Okay, this is still base. I was a bit confused. Okay, this is the logo is for the token. Okay, so swap failed on chain, no funds left your wallet. And this is the transaction on the Socket Explorer. Let's try it again. Maybe there was a change in price during the course of the trade, or, fee. Maybe the fee is too small or something. Because, I don't have enough funds to, typically you want a sizable amount when doing this. Now with Bungie, it looks like you can also choose your own destination address, assuming it's another address. Let's try one more time. If it's going to fail, then we will just, you know, we'll stop the transaction. What's happening here is that maybe we don't have enough fee to foot the transaction. Another feature of Bungie, which is likely powered by Socket Protocol as well, is fueling or refueling. This allows you to send some of these funds here as gas fee to the optimism chain. So let's say we are swapping between USDC and USDC, and we realize that we don't have ETH on the optimism chain to pay gas fee. We can use this refuel option. Let's just try one more time. If it doesn't work, then we will uh you get the gist, of. So unlikely to go through. The likely issue here is a lack of fees, or the transaction size is very small, 0.52 USDC. Okay, so let's look at one more application that I found that is powered by Socket. It's called Enclave Money. So I found this on X, by the way. Enable instant gasless transactions on any blockchain for your users with zero latency chain abstraction. So this is like an iteration of the hassle that we experienced with Bungie, where fee was a problem. What if, Socket Protocol elevates abstraction for the end user till the level of gasless transactions? It looks like that's what Enclave is trying to implement. So it says the liquidity supernet, unifying billions in scattered liquidity across blockchains. Let me click on that. So integrate now, onboard more sticky users today, wallets, apps, agents, a single unified balance across blockchains. Okay, so what I see here is, you know, Enclave is taking abstraction to the next level, but this is more like a protocol. It doesn't seem to have like a user interface that you can interact with as an end user. It's like a protocol that you integrate into your own applications such that you can now offer gasless transactions for your users. Okay. You can also offer them a unified wallet that, where that allows them manage their portfolio of tokens across multiple chains. And let's see. Okay, so this is sort of like for developers who want to build. Okay. Um, yes, also powered by Socket Protocol. Okay, I think we've seen a large bulk of what Socket Protocol is, even in practice. It's obvious from all our discussion that you have used Socket Protocol on the basis of applications that you typically use. I use Avo, for example, not knowing that you know it's powered by Socket Protocol. In the wallet category, I've already shown many of the wallets I've used all have a socket protocol integration. Let's look at smart wallet. Okay, so smart wallet refers to wallets where you don't necessarily need a MetaMask authorization per transaction. At the moment you institute an account on the wallet, a native wallet is instituted for you that basically abstracts the need for signing transaction fees per instance and all that. Okay, so let's not complicate this video. I think that we've done enough practical for you to understand the magnitude of socket protocol. Magnitude wise, it has also generated or uh, facilitated $20 billion in transaction volume. Let's go to another aspect of socket protocol very quickly. An aspect, as let's see. So, for those who are interested in contributing to the evolution of Socket Protocol, of course, one way of doing so is through use of applications powered by Socket Protocol. That will engage Socket Protocol, give it insight on the user experience, analytics for improvement. So, that's contribution. Okay. Uh, but there's another way to contribute, which is a social method. So we're going to wall chain at this stage. Now, I don't know, apologies, my PC is suddenly struggling because of, screen recording and all that. Just a moment, bear with me. Um, let me try to speed it up a bit. Just a moment. That's the nature of my videos, by the way. I don't edit them. I like to capture everything when it comes to Web3 engagements. Okay, so now we will go to okay, so we will go to Wallchain. Wallchain is an AI related project. All you need to do when it comes to Wallchain is onboard with your X account. Then it uses AI to track your social contributions with respect to Web3 projects and then scores you on a leaderboard. Generally, there is the prospect of earning rewards on the basis of your social contributions. And if you look at the leaderboard, they've incorporated Socket Protocol. So Socket Protocol has a leaderboard on here, and your contribution to the mind share of Socket Protocol is being tracked by Wallchain, giving you a ranking. Okay, so if you click here, you will see more about Socket Protocol and details on how to socially contribute effectively such that you are ranked here, at a high level. So some other details about Socket Protocol is that it has raised 14 million, and especially in what we want to tackle in this aspect of the video is something called Socket Society. So basically, they have a community. They are community oriented, and in particular, they have what they call Socket Society. It's a curated, community powered initiative by Socket Protocol that brings together high agency crypto native individuals from across the ecosystem, people who don't just watch the space evolve but actively want to shape it. So they're inviting you to join Socket Protocol. You who is cross-chain oriented and are particular about contributing to the evolution of Web3 and in effect Socket Protocol, you're invited to join the Socket Society. Now, take note, this video will help you as well to socially contribute to Socket Protocol. It will intimate you, it is intimating you on what Socket Protocol is about so that your next time out on X, you can talk about it organically. Of course, that will enable you rank on the leaderboard of Socket Protocol on Wallchain. Okay, so at its core, Socket Society is a collective of builders, users, and thinkers who are solving one of the biggest problems in crypto today: fragmentation. So fragmentation is what abstraction solves, having to deal with multiple chains fragmentedly. So instead of just a single swap event, you have to look for gas on that chain. It's a hassle. But of course, we see how Socket Protocol solves that. But in particular, for this aspect of the video, I want to highlight Power Puffs. It's a role. It's a Discord role given to individuals with conviction and capability to push the world on chain, regardless of chain allegiance, tooling preferences, or core skill set. So the Power Puff role, an initiation journey that starts with earning the Power Puff role and culminates in evolving into a blossom, bubbles, or buttercup, each representing your superpower in the shared mission. So these are key roles in the community of Socket. I believe you'll get these roles on the Discord channel, and it's given to core members of the community, starting with the Power Puff role, which you can evolve into other more advanced roles. Now, how do you get the Power Puff role? At the moment, they are running a campaign relating to this leaderboard shown here. So by talking about about Socket Protocol on X, you will rank here, and there's a campaign running for this month where they will be giving the top 15 users on this leaderboard the Socket Protocol role. The Puffer Puff role. So all you need to do is onboard on here. I do have some invites. It's invite only, by the way, that you can reach out to me for. That will get you started with Wallchain. So once you have onboarded on Wallchain with your X account, anytime you talk about Socket Protocol on X, whether by virtue of your posts or your replies, it will be tracked and ranked. So as you start climbing the leaderboard, when you reach top 15 on the leaderboard, you will end up earning that role. So you see, I'm top 22 on the 30-day leaderboard. I'm nowhere in the top on the 7-day leaderboard. But hopefully this video will help me to contribute more to the mind share and restore my rank towards the top. If I'm able to get in the top 15 rank throughout the course of this month, I will likely get the puffer role, which is a relished role. Bringing us to the end of this video, I think that we've covered enough for one video on the subject of Socket Protocol, and this video is also sufficient for you to get started with your socket protocol interactions, and also for you to be able to talk about socket protocol on X more effectively. Let's end the video here. Stay awesome, take action, subscribe to Web3 Wikis on all socials. For additional information, exhaust the description area of this video.